Okay. So for this, for pagination, first of all, like pagination, this is going to give us the ability. So when we do database calls, we're not going to get back everything all at once. We can kind of choose how much data we get back with each API call. And, you'll see this with like Amazon, if you go look for like products, they're not going to show you their 1 million products, like their 1 million shoes. They're going to show you like 25 shoes. And then you can go to the next page and see the next 25 shoes. So let's kind of see how we could do something like that. So to do this, we're going to add a gem called Commonary. So we'll just kind of figure out how to do the back end first. So go to your gem file. Am I sharing my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this gem is going to be responsible for giving back, only certain parts, like in a certain amount of data. Do you think I want to use this everywhere, like in production, in development, and test? Like that's kind of the question you ask yourself, like, where do I put this gem? It's like, do I want to use it in all environments? Like when I push this up to like a live website, I'm going to want this feature. So that's kind of how you can ask it. Do I want this feature in a live environment? Yes, I do. So I'm going to throw it right in, not in my development or test. I'm just going to throw it right at the top. So it's this gem, the Kaminari gem. And then, yeah, once I add a gem, I stop my server and run bundle. Cool. Something else I'm going to do just to kind of maybe, simulate this is I'm going to create a lot more data. So let's come in and create. So I could go to my seeds file, maybe add some, and I can select this out when I'm done with it. So I'm going to create like 100 agents, and they're going to have just a lot more data. Okay, so I have 100 agents, and for each 100 agents, I'm going to create 50 buyers and 50 properties. So I'm going to have 5,000 properties and 5,000 buyers. I could try to make this more, but then our seeds file would take forever to run. So I think this is kind of a limit. I'll select this out if you want these changes. So I'm just going to do a Rails DB reset. And this seeds file is going to take a while because these SQL call, like creating stuff to the database isn't super quick. So I'm doing like 10,000 things.
When do you do reset or drop?
When do you do them?
Okay, what's the difference, I guess?
I'm trying to think of the case. They're pretty much
like, I feel like reset is kind of a combination between, or it's a combination of like drop and create.
There is a difference. I can't remember, like there are times you want to drop your database. I can't.
Do they both start the number at 1, the ID at 1, or
yeah,
just,
yeah,
okay.
they both started at 1. Yeah, like if you were to rename your database, you'd want to drop it. I'm trying to think. I know I can't think of the case. Because like this is dropping the database, it's creating it. it's going to migrate it, it's going to seed it.
Are there times when you don't want to just reset it, or is reset just like?
There might be, I wonder if it's if you change a migration file. That might be it. The safest bet is just to always just do a Rails db drop, db create, db migrate, db seed. But yeah, like, if I step into like my Rails console and do like a property, like I'm expecting to have like 5,000 of these. All.count. And then yeah, property dot like first, that should start with 1. I think if you change a migration file though, you want, I don't know, I don't think it reruns your migrations. I honestly would need to Google it. I know they're not the same though. Okay, so now I have a lot more data. Just so we can like, and you know, even like 5,000 properties, that's still not that much, but let's just like, let's go Rails s-p 3001. Let's just see if we notice a difference with our performance. Like you can see like there is, you see how it's kind of like the spinner here is like, I don't know, that's really like, it's like a split, it's longer because we have to grab more data. It's really not that like noticeable. I think a lot of the times it's just like, it's kind of obnoxious just to have like 5,000 things showing. Or not obnoxious, but maybe I don't need to show all of this information. So, or like I might want a way to like, sometimes scrolling's how you want to do it, but sometimes you might want pagination or like something else. So let's do this. We're just going to do this with this one page for this table. Let's just kind of show, you know, like, let's only show maybe like 25. I think that's the default with common area, only 25 properties by default. Like we're only going to get back 25 properties instead of getting back, you know, however many there are for Provo. So cool. Let's look at how we can do this. So we have that gem added. So now I can go to, let's go to this call where we do this.
I have a question that's probably not like exactly what we're doing, but I just noticed in the beds and baths, sometimes the numbers are like way off. In Faker, is there a way to be like, don't put 8 beds in 1 bathroom, or like have the numbers be a little closer together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here I'm just doing random 1 through 8, but
oh, that's what you did. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's totally a way where you could, you know, just code like, oh yeah, beds is 1, then, you know, have baths be plus or minus 1.
You don't want a house with 8 bathrooms and 1 bedroom, Catherine?
No, not if I had like 8 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe-
you could do something. You could do something like this. You just say like, you know, like let num equal this. And then, or let's just say this is beds. You pick a random number, like there's your beds. And then baths can just be beds, you know, plus, you know, 0 to 1. Or, you know, there's ways. It's just this thing about like a seats file, like this is a Ruby file, so you can do whatever you could do in Ruby. Like you can make this pretty complicated. All right. So yeah, let's go to this action where we, when we select a city, we get back all the properties for that city. So that's going to be, I think, set in our properties controller. It's right here. It's this method right here. So what we want to do is we want to limit how many this is giving back. And this is where we're going to use that gem we just added. So I'm going to do a before action here. For action, I'm going to call this method set page. And for now, let's only do this on the city method. We might add more, but we can do this on this action, on the city action. So let's define this set page. And I can do at page equals params. Params colon page. So now I'm going to maybe expect the params page. If that params page is not given to me, meaning it's undefined, I could set that equal to 1. Let's kind of like look at what this is saying. We could write this as a ternary. These two are the same, kind of doing the same things. Do I have a params page? If that thing is defined, let's set that to at page. If it's not, use 1. This is using an OR statement, like a short circuit evaluation. This is doing it with a ternary. Cool. So now I'm going to have this instance variable called page, which is either going to be 1 or like someone needs to give me a page param. Okay. So now that that's defined in my city method, I'm going to do property dot, oh, not here, property dot page at page dot city. And I'll say this dot page is, given to us with the Kaminari gem. So the reason I can call this dot page and then pass it the page and then after do the dot city. So let's just remember what this looked like before. So let's throw this up here. Like this was before Kaminari. Spelling that right. And this is after. Okay. I need to move this. Okay. Let's go ahead and refresh. Let's select the city. Let's do Provo. Now notice, I don't know if you notice, like I don't have as many. And if I were to count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 24 plus this extra grid. That's 25. I'm getting back 25 entries. So this is giving us back 25 entries, per show you, like, let's do the before. I'm just going to comment this back. If I refresh, if I do Provo, that's all of them. That's more than 25, right?
I don't know about that. It seems like a little less.
Seems a little less. Yeah, that's like, I don't know, a couple hundred. So that's what that's doing. So now when we do this call, we can just, give back a certain amount. Cool. So we're kind of going to switch this up though a little with how we send back this data. So instead of sending it back like this, now I want to send it back as a hash because, well, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this back as I don't know, this is like my city properties. I want to get how many pages do I have, right? It's just going to be however many properties I have, divided by, 25. But this is also because there's this Kaminari gem. It's going to be available to me in this total pages. Okay, so that's how I can grab my total pages. So now what I can do is I can render JSON properties. I guess, yeah, we can call that properties. Let's just call this properties. That's fine. And then total pages. Because now I can get back, I'm still going to get back my front end, the properties, but I'm also going to let them know, since I'm kind of giving them back only 25, only one page, I'm going to let them know how many total pages they are, because this is going to help them set up their UI. And we'll kind of see what this means. Is my front end going to work now? I am changing how I'm sending back my data. It's going to break my front end. So if I go to cities, I'm not changing how I'm sending back this array of cities, but if I go to Provo, blows up. Filtered cities.maps not a function. It's like, what? Filter cities.maps not a function. So it looks like this one might be an error. Cities line 75. But why is this not a surprise that this is breaking my front end?
I don't know.
So in the front end, if I wanted to grab my properties, it's going to be the res.data with this old way. But now I'm changing how I'm sending back my data, because I don't just want to send back the properties. I wanted to also send back this total pages. So on my front end, with this call, how am I going to get my properties? This rendered JSON, this is the res, this is what that blue, that's the res.data. The JSON I'm rendering. That's gonna, as Axios, that's gonna come back as res.data. So this now is my res.data, this object. So if I want to get my properties, with how I change it now, it's gonna be res.data.properties. So here, properties is res.data. Here properties is, or I should say, is going to be res.data, and here properties is going to be res.data.properties. So I'm changing how I'm sending this data back. And I'm this way I can send back more than just properties. Now I can send back total pages. So now I need to go to my cities.js. So let's go to that Axios call. So set filtered cities. This is where I want to do this res.data. Well, now I'm calling this properties. Or wait, no, is that? Yeah, I think that's the right one. Let's refresh. And there it works. Yeah, that's set filters cities. I should probably call that like set city properties or something. Filters cities a weird name. Filtered cities, and that should not be filter. That should be filter. Yeah, that's bad naming on my part. This should maybe be like city properties. I think that, because that's what this really is. It's like the property information by city. So I might want to call that state city property. Anyway, this is, I might want to like put a note here, like best name. This is maybe like a to-do. Question mark. But does that make sense how, like, since I changed how my backend's changing, how the data is getting sent back, that's why I need to call this res.data.properties. But now I could also grab some state. I could do like total. I can have some total pages state now. Sure, that can be null. And now I can like set here as well. Now I can set total pages to be res.data. Total underscore pages. Because now this Axios call is now sending back those two pieces of properties data and total pages data. So right here, I'm going to throw this in a div. I'm going to create this like render. I'm just going to call that pagination. Make a function const render pagination. If we don't have total pages, return. If we don't have it, I'm just going to return null. If we don't have it, let's just return null. Else, let's return. For now, in a paragraph, I'm just going to return total. What that is, total pages. So now when I select Provo, see how I have 23 total pages for Provo. I have 24 total pages for Sandy, 23 for Draper, 23 for Bountiful, 22 for Lehigh, etc. Cool. Okay. So right here, what I really want to render right here is I want to render a list of numbers from 1 to ... pages. You've seen that, right? Like it's going to be like at the bottom of like Google where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I want to go all the way up to total pages. So really what I want, instead of just saying total pages, is I'm going to want an array of like, for now we can just do paragraphs. It doesn't really, or let's do like spans. It's going to look something like this. It's going to be array of JSX of spans with the numbers. Etc. You know, to total pages. Because that's what, like, this is what we do when we map. I create an array of JSX and, you know, React knows how to render that. So I want to do an array of spans, you know, starting at 1, going up to total pages. How am I going to do this though? What function or what JavaScript function am I going to use?
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say
Map.
What?
You're gonna use a map for this, right?
So I could use, well, but what am I going to map over?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Total pages is just a number. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's a little.
Yeah.
So it's like this is one of those weird cases where I want to use a what kind of loop?
For loop.
Yeah, a for loop. So I need to make an, so this is, so we're kind of like manually doing a map function, or kind of, not really. We need to do a for loop. So I'm going to say like let span, or let's do this like, I don't know what to call this, pages or spans equal an empty array. And then I'm going to do my for loop. Now this might be something, this would be a good thing to maybe do in here. Like I have like, you know, I kind of take this out of context of the app and it's like, okay, I'm going to have my spans, or like I could start out like this. First of all, how do I do a for loop? That'd maybe be the first step. If you didn't know, you could kind of go Google it. You know, let's just count to 10. So it's like what I'm going to want to do. Well, I don't want to start counting at 0. I want to start counting at 1. Cool. That's how I could start counting at 1. And then I'm going to have like some up here, like total pages. It's going to be a number, whatever. Let's say it's 10. Right. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to start my counting at 1 and I'm going to go up to my total pages. Well, it's like I want to include 10, so I make that less than or equal to. So I figured out how to count to 10. Well, it's like I don't want to count to 10. I want to create an array that wraps these all in spans. So let span equal or spans equal an empty array. Now I can do like a spans dot push I dot log spans. Cool. Now I have an array of numbers. I mean, I could just map over that and do the thing, but I'm not going to pass just the I. I'm going to wrap those in a span and put I in there. But this is not React. This is where maybe it can get like this, because this is just a JavaScript file. This is technically not React. So I can't write JSX, but I could kind of like figure it out a little, like what kind of fake it with a string. And that's kind of how I can see, like I can create an array of spans then with, I inside of the middle. I can't quite fake it because this is JSX. I can't write JSX in JavaScript because I need React for that. But this kind of shows me that like how I am going to do this. So cool. Now I could take this code, put it right here. This. Now I do have now I am in a job like a React file, so I can write this because that's valid JavaScript or valid JSX. And then I could, instead of logging that, I can just return spans. Test this. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going up, starting at 1, going to my total pages. Maybe do some style inside of here. Margin right. 5 pixels. Cool. So see, this is why I wanted my backend to send me back. How many total pages do I have? Because then I can, create some UI to, so we can, somehow select the page and go just up to the total pages.
What about those pages that says like go to last page instead of like page 22?
Yeah, I mean that's like, we could do like an arrow right here, a double arrow. That stuff we could definitely add on here. Like I would just, so how would I do that? Well, before I started this loop, I could like, hey, let's add, this. What am I missing here? Oh, how I'm like getting into like, how do I add an arrow? And then once I'm done, then I can add like the, those ones. All right, is that kind of what you're talking about?
I don't know, actually. Like, so whatever you would want to be like the last, like you could technically type in jump to last page or go to previous page.
Yeah. So this could be like, yeah, I mean, that could say last, or no, this would be like first. I don't know. There's, it's kind of like to have like first, because I could just click it. Same thing with last, but
I think
yeah,
she
this would
means
be
like go to like the last page you were on.
yes, that'd
Like
be
go to the
previous,
next page. Yeah.
and that would be like next.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we could spend, because maybe we want this also to be like highlighted. Like what's our current page? And we could spend a lot of time on this. Let's maybe just do the current page and then we'll move on. So now I need state for that. So let's do current page. Set current page. I'm just going to set that equal to 1. I think that makes sense, that the current page should be 1. And let's just for now also just so we can just visualize it. Just maybe not the best UI, but we'll just down here. Current page. Page. What doesn't I like about this? Oh. You know, maybe I don't render this if I don't have total pages. Wait, that should not, okay, it's fine. Let's just kind of ignore this for now. So I go in here, I have this previous, so my current page is 1, but maybe what I want to do next is when I click on one of these, it updates the current page. Okay. So let's do that. Let's do a on click. This can just be, you know, set. We'll do this like this. Set. How do I want to do this? I'm going to do this as a function, as like page clicked and pass it I. For now, I'm not going to hook up these two ones. Let's just do this one, but let's come write this const page clicked. Takes in the page. And for now, it's just, I don't actually, let's do it here. Let's do set current page to page. Because eventually I'm probably going to want to do like an Axios call. And, you know, update UI. Cool. So when I click on one of these, you know, it's telling me what the current page is. You know, maybe I could do something like for the style. Like write a function const get style. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have shared styles between all of these. That has, you know, that margin. I want all of them to have margin right. So I'm just kind of moving this style to like a function, because you'll see why in 1 second, because I might want to do some more logic, but let's just get it working the way it was. So I have this get styled. Right now we're going to have this shared style object that just has this margin right of 5 pixels. And that's how we get our style. So this really shouldn't change anything. Cool. But what I could maybe do is I could say like if current page, and then actually what I'm going to do going to pass this I. So if the current page equals page, I could do like shared styles. How do I want to do this? Let's just do it like this. I'm just going to return it right here. I'm going to copy that shared styles, but I'm going to add some extra stuff to it, like a color is red. So now I could have like, I didn't no longer need to say this current page down here because now I'm like styling it different. Cool. So I'm going to get rid of this. Let's refresh. Cool. So now I have some UI that's like rendering this pagination, and it's letting me know which one's active, but I want to, it's not actually getting the data. Okay, so I need to do my Axios call again. Okay. So it's really, this is where I'm doing this call. All right. But let's just take it right here. This might not be the cleanest way, but I'm just going to copy and paste this right here. But notice, remember how we could send a param, the page param. So one way I can do that is with a question mark after my URL. I can do a page equal so this is how I can send, another way I can send params. I end my URL with a question mark, and then I can have some value, a key, and then I can set it equal to something. And you've seen this, like if I go to, I wonder if any of these like right here, code sandbox, here's the URL, here's the question mark. So now this is getting a file param, which equals this. Cool. Unexpected. So now I'm getting an unexpected reserve await because this is now an async call. What is this? Selected city is not defined, line 99. Ooh. I'm going to need to throw this in some state. Because this works on the handle select. So now I grab the selected city, which I'm getting from the event, which is fine here. I just need to now have this be in some state because I now need to use it somewhere else. So let's just call this selected city and set selected cities. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to set selected city to be this event.target.value. So now I'm going to have this selected city state. But remember with our setters, this is not going to be set by the time we call this So I actually need to use this value here. The event.target.value. So the value from my event, because that will be defined. Remember, this is a weird like thing with our use state hook. When we set something, it's not really set until like after it renders. So I can't, it seems like I should be able to use that selected cities right here, but I can't. But I do have the value that I want to send. It's going to be the event.target.value. But now I do have this selected city state. So now that should be defined here. Let's refresh. Selected city. Why is that not defined? Oh, because I didn't save it. Let's go to cities. Let's go to Provo. And notice how when like I just click 3, I click 4, my data is changing. I select 5, now it's changing. If I go look at my server, see I'm passing like these parameters, like I'm getting the city parameter and the page parameter. If I go all the way up to 23, I probably would, this one might not have 25 entries. I should be able to go to Sandy. Ooh, that's something I need to do when I select a city because I'm not, now that's stuck at 23. So now when I select a city, I need to set my current page to be 1. Just for a UI thing. See if that gets it. So I now go to Draper. So now it's 1. And then that's like a little pagination effect. Cool. Any questions on that? I did not realize what time it was, but we need to stop.
I'll have to go over it all again, but it seemed like it was as straightforward as
Yeah,
pretty much everything else.
we can maybe like tomorrow, we'll review this tomorrow since we went over this kind of quickly, but yeah, at the end, like I think just, high level, this is what we're able to do. We're able to only get back a certain amount of data at a time, and then we can just ask for small bits, and then like that might give us a quicker experience because it's not that much to just get back 25 things. So cool. But I didn't realize it was so late, but I need to hop off. Let's come back at 1:20, or is that right? I'm getting 2:20. I'm getting confused what time it is. Let's come back at 2:20 and yeah, we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Too.